Welcome all to Suffield Hardware TV. Today we're going to be building shelving for your garage, your basement, anywhere that you need shelving. Very simple, very easy to do. Let's go get started. This is George, the handy hardware guy for Suffield Hardware TV. This is the spot we're going to be building our shelves that we were talking about in the beginning. And if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, and share them with your friends. Also comment below on projects you'd like to see me do it. Things you got to be concerned about when you're doing these shelves is your height, your width, and your length. We've got plenty of height down here. We're about 7.5 feet tall. Width is no problem. Our shelves are always 2 feet wide because that rips a 4x8 sheet of plywood in half. Saves on cost. Length, we have plenty of length for our 8-footers. So we're going to go with 8-foot shelving. So 8 feet long, 2 feet wide, and about 7.5 feet tall. Let's get started building. Getting our shelving project started today, we're going to need to get some items. 2 4x8 sheet by 1/2 inch plywood, 14 2x4s. We're also going to need some screws, 10 by 3 1/8, 10 by 2 1/2, and 8 by 1 1/4. These are GKN screws. They're the best out there I've found. Each box comes with a bit, so you don't have to go searching for that bit that you put in your toolbox somewhere. You're also going to need a drill, and a hammer drill makes it easier. A circular saw, a square, a tape measure, a pencil, and if you've also got a chop saw, that's going to make it a lot easier. But this project can be completed with a circular saw, a jigsaw, or a handsaw. Let's get started. Having a chop saw with a stop block set at 6 inches is a great way to make repetitive cuts. These are the shelf supports that we have to make. We need 12. We need 9 21-inch cross supports for our project. Again, a chop saw with a stop setup makes quick, easy work. Building our shelf frame is very simple. Get your 3 center supports, 2 main supports, screw them together, 2 GKN screws, 3 1/8 inches long in each spot, you're good to go. Finished frame of our shelf. Now we have to rip down our plywood from 4x8 to 2x8. Securing our plywood down to our shelving frame is very simple to do. Grab one of the plywoods that we cut down to 2 foot by 8 foot, square it up along one side, secure it with the 8 1/4 inch screws. I like to start in the corners. Once I got 2 corners secured on one side, I'll put one in the center and about halfway between center and each end. Then when I start on the other side, I want to make sure everything's nice and square. So if you have to, pull or press your frame until it squares up to the plywood. Done. Check your other side, but once you squared up one side, both sides should be set. And that's it. That's how we apply our plywood to our frame. Next thing we have to do is we have to attach our shelf supports to our 2x4s that are going to act as our uprights. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that all your 2x4s are squared up on one end. And then you want to make sure that you determine the height of your shelving. For the project we're doing, we're going to have our shelves set at 24.5 inches off the ground, 52.5 inches and 76 inches. But we got to take in consideration the thickness of the 2x4 and the plywood. So our first mark is going to be 20.5, 48.5, and then 72. But these shelving heights are all based on what you need and where you're doing it. So once you get your set, take your square, mark your lines. You want to do this across all 4 of them. Once you get that marked, you want to take your spacing blocks, and we're going to pre-drill these before we secure them down to our upright supports. So 2 little drills. In each one. We're going to secure our self-supports down to our 2x4 uprights with 2.5 inch screws. This way here, the screws don't come out on the other side. Align your shelf support to the bottom part of the line. Put your 2 screws in. We got our shelf supports on our shelf legs. Next thing to do is to get this to where we're assembling it and put it all together. Now that we got our shelf supports assembled, our shelving assembled, it's time to put them in place, put it together. This first part, I'd like to split my uprights about 8 feet apart, because that's the distance of our shelf. And with the help of a friend, which is Erin, my daughter, we're going to get the first shelf put in place. You don't need to put screws on it right away. You can just put it there. It's going to stay on its own. And now we're going to put a screw in each corner, but only one, because that'll leave it a little bit loose so we have time to square it up. We noticed when we were going to do the building that we have some electrical wires up here that they ran down against the foundation on the floor joist. So we're going to have to pull our back supports off the wall about 6 inches. Very simple to do. All you need is a tape measure, and that'll help us alleviate one obstacle. So measure in from the back about 6 inches. Now you're going to put the back side of the 2x4. Again, only one screw. From here you want to use a square just to square everything up. Once you get it square, put a second screw in. To assemble our shelving to our upright supports, we're using 2 1/4 inch GKN screws. Now we're ready for our second shelf. That's it. Shelves assembled, installed. I do recommend either anchoring them to the floor joist on the ceiling, or if you can, tap cons up against the back wall, just to prevent it from possibly tipping over. But you can see they're very sturdy, very strong, and they're open faced. That's why we put our supports on the outside, so you can go directly into it. And what's nice about this too, is we have plenty of room over on the other side here, where we can add another 8 feet of shelving. So now all we have to do is put our support blocks on the outside here, and we can continue down. So if you like this, you like the project, please comment below. Give us suggestions on other things you'd like us to do. And again, subscribe, like, and share. Thanks. Have a great one.